LeGrand. Coleman. Here. Hildenbrand. Here. Hennessy. Halsted. Here. Minority Vice Chair Faber. Commissioners DeBoer. Here. Burl. Here. Bujak.
Present.
Chair Green.
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have 15 present, 6 absent. You have a quorum.
Thank you. We'll move to the next agenda item, which is the invocation, and I'll welcome up Commissioner McLeod.
Good morning. As we gather to conduct a public's business, let us take a moment to reflect on the remarkable journey that has brought us to this moment. This year, our nation marks 250 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence, a milestone that invites both celebration and reflection. For 2.5 centuries, generations of Americans have worked to transform the founding ideals of liberty, equality, and self-government from aspirations on paper to realities experienced by people in their daily lives. The story of America has never been written by a single group or generation. It has been shaped by countless citizens who believed that our democracy could be strengthened through service, sacrifice, and civic participation. Their courage in the face of adversity, their leadership in the moments of change, and their unwavering faith in the power of citizenship have enriched our community, embracing the values that sustain a free society: respect for one another, thoughtful dialogue, honest disagreement, and a shared commitment to serving all members of our community. May we remember that history is not only something that we inherit, it is something that we create. The decisions we make today become part of the story future generations will tell about who we were, what we valued, and how we faithfully served. On this 250th anniversary of our nation, may we be inspired by those who came before us and united in our determination to leave our country stronger, fairer, and more hopeful for those who will follow. Thank you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with
Liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, Commissioner McLeod, for the invocation. The next item on our agenda is special order of business. We do have the proclamation for the 250th anniversary. I have a couple remarks that I wanted to make prior, and then we'll do the proclamation. So good morning. 9 days from today, the United States of America turns 250 years old. It is an age few nations have ever reached, and fewer still under the same flag and the same founding promise. In the summer of 1776, 56 men came forward to sign a piece of parchment in a small hall in Philadelphia. Each of them knew the penalty for high treason to the crown. They pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor. Indeed, some would forfeit their fortunes. Some would even forfeit their lives, but none sacrificed their honor. The idea they were willing to die for was, strange as it may seem today, a radical one in 1776, that all men are created equal, that governments derive their just powers from the consent of the governed, that a free people could rule themselves. No nation has carried that idea farther or kept faith with it longer than ours. Kent County's own President Ford, at our bicentennial, called that document the Polaris of our political order, the fixed star of freedom, impervious to change because it states moral truths that are eternal. And he reminded us that we stand in awe of our founding documents, not for their beauty and not for their antiquity, but because they belong to us. Kent County has been part of that story for nearly 200 of those years. The men and women who settled along the Grand River, who built our townships and cities and churches, who served on juries and school boards and battlefields. They were not bystanders to the American experiment. They were the experiment, lived out one family and one neighborhood at a time. And so are we. The people in this room and in our 35 city, township, and village halls, the staff in this building, the police officers and firefighters who keep watch over our neighborhoods, teachers and nurses and pastors and small business owners across this county. We are carrying that experiment forward in our own way. And the burden of it and the privilege of it has come down to us. So today, on behalf of every resident of Kent County, let us mutually pledge to the enduring principles of the Declaration our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. And may the future of this land that we love be ever brighter for our children and for generations of Americans yet to be born. So I'd like to invite Vice Chair Teal to come forward for the proclamation. I'm going to read it, and then we're going to have a member of the A250 group here in town come forward and say some words. Dale Robertson. I'm just going to find... Sorry, we have a number of proclamations this morning. So, proclamation by the Kent County Board of Commissioners. Whereas July 4th, 2026 marks the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence and the founding of the United States of America, also known as the semi-quincentennial. And whereas for 250 years, the ideals expressed in the Declaration of Independence, including liberty, equality, self-government, and the pursuit of opportunity, have inspired generations of Americans. And whereas the America 250 initiative has been established to commemorate this significant anniversary through educational programs, civic engagement, historical reflection, community service, and celebrations that honor the contributions that have shaped our nation. And whereas Kent County recognizes the importance of preserving and sharing our local history, honoring the people and communities whose contributions have helped shape our nation, and reflecting on our shared past as we work toward a stronger future for generations to come. And whereas the residents of Kent County are encouraged to participate in commemorative events and community celebrations throughout 2026 in recognition of this historic occasion. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Kent County Board of Commissioners hereby recognizes and celebrates America 250 and the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. And with that, I'd like to first present this proclamation to the America 250 Committee. The GRA 250 Steering Committee member, Dale Robertson, is here with us, and he's also, as you know, the CEO of the Grand Rapids Public Museum. So I'd like to present that to you and invite you to give some remarks. So,
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the Commission. I am Dale Robertson. I'm very pleased to have been asked to serve on the steering committee for the GRA 250 committee by the city manager, and it is a group of citizens that have been planning celebration originally for the city's anniversary, but now specifically on the 250th anniversary of our nation. You know, not every nation knows and can point to an exact time and place that it is founded. We're fortunate to be able to do that. And we're good at anniversaries and celebrating them in America, as well we should. And Commissioner McLeod and Chair Green have reminded us about those principles and the importance of strengthening that foundation and deepening it and broadening it, so as you grow, it's there to support. And so I very much appreciate this recognition and this proclamation. I don't want to jinx it here, but we are hopefully going to be, we meaning the museum, the place where a lot of the memorabilia, the time capsule for this celebration will be housed, publicly owned, publicly available, as well as it should be. But I want to just take a moment, if I could, because, you know, I am who I am here. And, you know, thinking about going back to those very origins, and a lawyer that I ended up actually coming to admire by reading David McCullough's biography of John Adams from 2001. And McCullough began to write a biography on Jefferson and changed because he became so enamored with Adams, as well he should. And again, I'm thinking about those principles. In the Boston Massacre, Adams was such a believer in representation and due process, he defended the soldiers, right, that were accused in the Boston Massacre because they deserved representation, stood on principle. And then coming to July 4th, the lawyer that he was, and I brought actually as my visual aid here, this is part of my July 4th wardrobe. It's John Adams, Happy July 2nd. So I wear it on July 2nd, and I make sure it's ready for July 4th. And he said, the second day of July, 1776, will be the most memorable epoch in the history of America. And he said this on July 3rd. Why did he do that? Because July 2nd is when the Continental Congress, that's when they actually passed the resolution declaring independence. The Declaration was the public proclamation of what we've done. Now I get why 4th became it. The lawyers might say, but we really did it on July 2nd. The key here, though, is that Adams, in writing a letter to his wife Abigail, said, for generations, this is worthy of celebration, of illuminations, fireworks, song, parades. There's so many things planned here, including the symphony, the music that will be on July 4th. Adams would be very happy to what is going on in this nation today. He would be very happy to see a public proclamation from this body memorializing this day. I am honored and proud to accept this on behalf of the GRA 250 Public Committee, and I thank you for this commemoration. I'll be the thorn between two roses. Oh, yes. Yeah. It's the most important thing. More important than
All right, thank you. Thank you, Dale. Great words, and we appreciate a little bit of leeway in the agenda to honor the day today. So we'll move on to Special Order of Business B, which is employee recognition for quality service. And I will invite Administrator Vandenberg to the podium.
Good morning. This is one of the fun parts of being the county administrator, to recognize the outstanding work and accomplishments of our county employees. So, first up, if I could please have Peter Drent from the Kent County Prosecuting Attorney's Office please come forward. Good morning. Good morning. One of Kent County's core values is to provide high-quality service to internal and external customers. We are here to recognize Peter Drent from the Kent County Prosecuting Attorney's Office, who was selected as one of the Quality Service Awardees for the first quarter of 2026. Peter was nominated for his exceptional service. The individual who nominated Peter for providing high-quality service wrote, "I am a juvenile defense attorney and work with Peter often. Each and every time, he is respectful to all parties, including the young defendants and their parents. On one such an occasion recently, a youth came into the courtroom dressed in a suit and carrying a tie, which he did not know how to tie. Mr. Drent stepped in and assisted this youth by showing him how to tie his tie so he could be completely presentable to the court. No one asked him. It was a moment that made a big impact on this youth and his mother, who is also so thankful for his assistance. He needs to be recognized for his grace and compassion towards these youth. Please join us in congratulating Peter Drent for his notable contributions and consideration for the customers of Kent County." Congratulations.
Thank you, Peter. I appreciate it. Get a photo?
Oh, yes, okay. Thank you very much. If Dan Czar could please come forward. Morning, Dan. We are here to recognize Dan Czar from Kent County Veteran Services, who was selected as one of the Quality Service Awardees for the first quarter of 2026. Dan was nominated for his exceptional service. The individual who nominated Dan for providing high-quality service wrote, "As a disabled veteran who has been involved with veteran service organizations since 2005 and working in the veteran services industry since 2011, I have never come across anyone in the outreach marketing position that matches his work ethic and drive to get the message to veterans about their respective office, department, organization, and the services they provide, as well as the information about veterans' benefits. The truly remarkable thing about this is that Dan is a civilian who has not served in the military, and I know a lot of veterans who have served in Dan's role who could never meet the standard that Dan sets in our office in terms of outreach and finding veterans who are unaware of the benefits and resources that are available to them in Kent County. Please join us in congratulating Dan Czar for his notable contributions and consideration for the customers of Kent County."
Congratulations. Thank you. Appreciate you. I'm in the middle of that. This is why they recognize as quality employees. All right. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. We'll continue on the order of special orders of business. For the Treasurer's Office Annual Report, I'd like to welcome our County Treasurer, Peter McGregor. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning. More fun stuff with the treasurer. Thank you for having me today and presenting. I appreciate your time. I'm going to try and get through this as quick as possible. I'm under the gun, but feel free to stop me anytime and ask questions. And with me, I have my Chief Deputy, Steve Orchard, and our Financial Supervisor, Jennifer Slodock, and they're in the back there. So they're here not only for moral support, but one, Steve has been with the county for 30 years, and Jennifer for 15 years. So wealth of information and knowledge there. They make my job easy. Okay, so just for your review, this is the county's mission and the responsibilities which are mandated by our state constitution and through state statute. And ultimately, our goal is to protect the interest of all taxpayers. If I go too fast, just slow me down, but we're going to try and get through this as quick as possible. So this is just a snapshot of our department and how each team member continues to be excellent stewards of the resources that are provided by this board here. And again, our team serves both internal customers, which would be all the different departments, as well as the external customers, which would be our local units and the citizens of Kent County. The Treasury Department has 3 primary goals: invest funds, collect lodging excise tax, and collect delinquent real property tax. This is just a quick slide to remind you. I know we review this in the investment update that I give you, but the SLY principle. This is the foundation of my office's investment philosophy, with safety carrying the majority of our focus. Under our first goal with investments, the first objective is clear and concise. Don't lose money. Nice and easy. So we follow the guidelines of PA, or Public Act 20, and the county investment policy. Public Act 20 and our investment policy also must be followed by all our investment bankers and our investment brokers. And my number one, this shows the type of investments on the top half, and on the lower shows the numbers of the rate of return over the past 4 years. And just to be clear, that this is just, these investment amounts and percentages are just a point in time. You catch us in the middle of July, once revenues start coming in from the tax. It would look a lot different. So this also shows not only where our money is, but also at this point, there's not a lot, and I know Jeff talked about this, in the coffers right now because we're waiting for the July tax season to come through. So tax revenue, cash flow needs change this all the time. Here is just a different snapshot in a pie chart of the different investments. Sometimes people like color in their graphs, and so this is just to pretty it up. So this same stuff. This is a little bit different. This is another pie chart that shows the investments by institution. So you can see that we spread the business out amongst as many community and regional banks as possible, trying to keep the money as local as possible with both banks and credit unions. And I can say for the first time in a long time, we're investing in more than one credit union now. So they are learning to call on us and provide business for the county because credit unions are a great place to have our money as well. The county continues to help and assist our local partners with our pooled funds. So we do this at no additional cost to our local units and any of the participants. You can see here that the numbers of municipalities from last year, it's reduced by 3, and the authorities has been reduced by 2, but we still are going to continue to provide these services. It's nothing that the county has done or that people have gone away, other than there are so many other institutions out there that can provide the same service, probably with better service, just because we're just doing this. It's not our focus, but also because sometimes there's safety concerns as well, cyber safety concerns. Moving on to our second goal of collecting is collecting the lodging excise tax. And our objective here is to make sure that we're auditing at least a quarter of the establishments that we're collecting these excise tax with. Our department is designed to collect and distribute and audit the excise tax from the hotels and motels within the county as directed by our county ordinance. So you can see, obviously, 2025 is a big jump, and that's when I said y'all, sorry about that, when you pass the ordinance to increase the excise tax from 5% to 8%. Here you can see that the majority of the tax comes from our hotels and motels, 102 hotels and motels. And the revenue they bring in, obviously, we work with Airbnb and other similar STR short-term rentals, and then a handful of bed and breakfasts throughout at least the times that I've been here. Our focus stays on hotels and motels at this time. The potential future growth should come and may come from short-term rentals, but right now, and probably their volume capacity will never be as close as it is with the hotels and motels. Lastly, we come to the department's third strategic goal. And our first objective in this is to receive an account for the delinquent real property taxes with our local taxing units. You can see in this graph that from 24 to 25, it's pretty much remained fairly steady. And it hasn't bumped up just a tiny bit. And this is the one part of delinquent taxes that I have zero control over. These are the taxes that are passed over to the county treasurer on March 1st that they're not able to collect on that previous tax cycle. And then, so we accept those. And I was in front of this board couple months ago asking for the approval of a note so I could pay that settlement off to all the local units, the millage, local units, and schools. When it comes to the delinquent property taxes, our focus has always been on prevention, education, and communication with our constituents. Engaging with these homeowners and encouraging them to actively work with us, is also our focus. We provide hardship deferrals, payment plans. Just getting that engagement with these individuals is the key. I also put on here, you see a bullet point of the PRE, or the principal resident exemption, explaining that there's a lot of taxpayers out there that should have this exemption that don't. And we find them in these delinquent tax rolls that we get, and we help them through that process. Home for Generations, it's a wonderful prevention program that I'll get into a little bit more in another slide. But that's basically, you can read that for yourself. Of course, we're helping families, and as much as we can, averting 98%, a little more than 98% of all tax foreclosure. So our team works tirelessly to prevent loss of property through foreclosure. And our objective is to keep families in their home, or keep property owners from going through the process of, or eventually being foreclosed on, and that avoidance is so key. So this slide shows the success that we had in the 26 cycle, the one that just ended coming up, or the foreclosure process. So towards the bottom, you can see we only had 15 parcels that were foreclosed on April 1st, compared to 25 where we had 30 parcels. And here we start on March 1 when that settlement comes over, and also in the third year of forfeiture. Start with 1,462 on March 1st, and by April 1st, a month later, we got it down to 15. So if I didn't call you back in March, that's probably why. Of those 15 foreclosures, 9 were just vacant. We call them junk lots or unbuildable lots, slivers. I showed you pictures last year. They shouldn't have been on the tax roll to begin with, and those are discussions that I continually have with the local units. 5 were unoccupied, or condemned, possibly rentals that just couldn't make their business plan work. 1, someone lived in there, but they knowingly walked away because they didn't want to have to deal with having to work with us. And unfortunately, there's always someone that doesn't want to work with us, and it's their choice, but we give them every opportunity to do that. And just to give you some reference on the number of parcels, we had 1,462 in forfeiture. 15 parcels were foreclosed. I believe the county has close to 272,000 parcels. Kind of give you a little perspective there. Our average over the past 20 years, or since I've been in office, is about 22 per year. This is just to show the due process that we go through to make sure people are treated fairly when it comes to the whole process of forfeiture and foreclosure. Our third objective when collecting the delinquent taxes is to provide the accessibility and the convenience to pay what is due in these back taxes or delinquent taxes. And it's the customer service objective that we're trying to accomplish here. And you can see that that third arrow down, almost, well, a little bit more than 40% was paid online, ACH, or through a credit card. The accessibility and that convenience that the electronic payments of delinquent taxes has been a huge game changer. Not only for, the benefit is not only for the citizens, but it's also been for our office. That's less traffic coming in, less handling of cash, and it just big safety issue. So when we made this change, I think in 2021, I think it was one of the last things that Ken Parrish did, but it's grown immensely. So proud of our team making it work nicely. Let's move on to some of our accomplishments here. Basically, we're always trying to improve communication, because I tend to find if I can get in front of a homeowner that's delinquent, we can find some sort of plan or payment plan or something that can help this individual get out of the hole that he's in. We've our e-statements and our notices are bilingual now. I did a podcast with Spanish translation with Lori, who is the treasurer in Kentwood, and a lot of views on that. You know, there's a language barrier sometimes in here, and we're trying to, cross that barrier and making sure that people understand their rights when it comes to the forfeiture and the foreclosure predicament they're in. We have started an electronic database to try and have people opt into getting their statements sent to them electronically instead of through the mail. So I also can't mention getting through this without our AAA bond rating, and I wanted to bring this up, and I know you all know the benefits of it, but just yesterday, a bunch of us were at the airport ribbon cutting, and Tori Richardson, the CEO, had mentioned, and he was grateful to the county commission for allowing them, the airport, to use the AAA bond rating. And he specifically said they've saved millions of dollars. So just to give a little shout out to why that is important to us and to our partners within the county. Home for Generations. This is a program that is, I talked about earlier, but it's to help out some of these residents that are in tax default, but also going through the probate system. And if any of you have ever been through probate, it's very difficult and clunky, and especially if you just don't know what's going on. It is a hard, and a lot of people get turned away from it because it's so clunky. But we had our first success story, got all the way through with Nicole, and she was a 19-year-old whose father passed away and left her a home. It was in shambles and 2 years in tax default. So our team, the Home for Generations team, which includes some attorneys from Warner, our probate court, home repair services, our legal department, Register of Deeds got involved, and of course my team walked her through. It took over a year to walk her through this, because that's how difficult that is. And it's an amazing accomplishment. Even though it's one, we're working on a couple more right now. They're in the midst. They take longer, but this is something that I need to start promoting and communicating for those that are in this situation. Of course, the 78T, we get a lot of press on the excess proceeds and what's going on with that, but we continue to streamline that process, and definitely getting that help from our legal assistance center across the street and in the court has been great. So let's see, moving on, the lodging excise tax. So looking ahead, short-term rentals have been a challenge. We have Airbnb, which you noted on a previous slide. It sends us payments every month, and it's considered our fourth largest payer when it comes to the excise tax, just one platform. But there are hundreds and hundreds of these short-term rental platforms, and a lot of them, again, it's clunky. The hotel motel, it's pretty static. We know exactly how to address them and audit. These individual hosts, it's a little different. I've been working with Commissioner Wally Bujak to help me, because he knows that business quite well. And working with our team, our legal team, and Al, we're trying to see if there's anything we can do to make it a little bit less difficult without having to hire new people and spend more money on trying to get these people to be compliant with our excise tax. Home for Generations, again, more communication, trying to expand that capacity is also something that we're going to be looking at to do over the next year. These are our partners that we collaborate all the time. Again, Home Repair Services couldn't do it without them. And then Legal Aid of West Michigan is also very, very helpful. And I just a shout out to KCCA and the probate courts and their help. It's just good teamwork to help out our citizens. And with that, I'll take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Treasurer McGregor. Commissioner Bujak.
Thank you, Chair Green. And Treasurer McGregor, thank you so much for your hard work as our treasurer. Your record for your average foreclosures, the reduced number, 22, is certainly, evidence of the work that you're doing to help people stay, in their homes and helping them, through the foreclosure process, keep them from going through the final loss of their property. I have met with the treasurer to talk about short-term rentals, and the problem lies within the ordinance itself. The ordinance that we have is called hotel and motel tax, and we discussed possibly amending that ordinance and changing the title to say hotel, motel, and short-term rental tax, because it's very confusing for those who are in these various business types where they're doing short-term rentals. They go to the county and they see this tax called hotel motel tax, and they figure, well, we don't have a hotel, we don't have a motel, so we don't have to pay this tax. And that's not the case. So in order to bring more individuals into compliance, the suggestion was that we look at that ordinance and amend it to say hotel, motel, and short-term rental. And I believe you're working on that.
Yeah, yes, we are, and thank you for the kind words. And I don't do it by myself. Commissioner Womack and Commissioner Hennessy and others, either calling me or I'm calling them because I need their help. Because if I can't get in front of someone, you all know your constituents better than I do, and I appreciate that help, and we keep people and businesses from going into foreclosure. When in regards to the short-term rental, the problem also lies at the state level. The state, says that they assign tax collection or the compliance of tax collection of the excise tax exclusively to the host site. And boy, I'd love it to change to say it has to be the platform site, because the way it works right now with Airbnb is awesome, because it's on their platform, you pay it when you click. Everything else, all the 200 other platforms out there, they say, nope, that's the site is in charge of that. And that's where it kind of gets confusing, clunky. Sometimes these people will have 1 or 2 clients a month, and they produce a couple dollars of excise tax. We got to make it easier for these small businesses to comply. The big hotels or the hotel chains, this is something that they do all over the nation. So if we could get Lansing to help us out a little bit, that would be helpful. But until then, we have to come up with ways to make it easier for the small businesses who do these short-term rentals to comply.
Okay.
Commissioner Ponstein.
Thank you, Chair Green. Treasurer McGregor, thank you for being here. Appreciate all the work you do. I appreciate your comments about the AAA bond rating. So often we forget that our bond rating is made possible by the taxpayers that fund this county, and then the people that deliver those services at a cost that keeps us in that range. So I appreciate that. My more specific question, as you mentioned the foreclosure, there's some properties that probably shouldn't have been on the rolls. So you mentioned cities, and I know when I was a city councilor that we were approached to buy a tax foreclosed property, which helped the city. It bordered up to something else. But do we ever reach out to individuals? I know if it goes to the auction, it could go to anyone. And if you approach a neighbor that is next to this property, he may have always wanted to thought maybe I'd build a garage, but I don't have the room. Or how about a garden? Do we reach out to that next step to avoid that foreclosure auction and work with the neighbor next door?
Yes, we work with those neighbors that are contiguous or that border these spots. I can't really work with them until that goes through the process. It has to go through foreclosure process, and now it's in, after that process is done, and now part of that process is public auction. And if it's junk lot, unbuildable, we say that on our description during the public auction. People can read that are bidding on these lots. A lot of them just don't go through. So now it gets placed, it goes through two auctions, and now it's named in the county treasurer's name. Now, personally, it says county treasurer. It doesn't say county yet, it says county treasurer. And from there, and we have a bunch of them out there, that I go to the adjoining property owners and try and pretty much give it away for $30. You pay for the register of deeds cost, I will give you this, plot of land, because it'd help you out more than it just sitting on our books making zero revenue off of it. And now it becomes part of a useful lot, and but it's also up to that individual to talk to their local assessor in trying to join those. And it's not as streamlined as it sounds, but we're constantly trying to move those and get them back on the tax roll, even the slivers of line. I mean, and sometimes it works. Most of the time it doesn't, but it should have probably never been on. But with everything electronic now, with assessing, and these things are starting to bubble up, because you start to see, because this developer took these lots this way, and this developer took these lots this way, and oh, there's 5 feet between these two. Exactly, that no one ever really paid attention to until we started getting, more automated on our system. So a lot of assessors think every piece of land has a value, and I think it depends on who that value is, very subjective. And those should have never come to the county, but they do. And we try and find them before they get to us, because they could come over for a $12 delinquency, right? But then, once they go into my system, we have $375 of fees that go on there, because we have to do the due process of visiting it, we have to do title search, all this stuff. And so now that $12 fee becomes, almost $412. And then it just starts to go through the process, and by the end, it's a couple $100 more. And so we're eating all that here at the county, and we got to do a better job at preventing that in the communication, again, is key with our local units.
Commissioner Morales.
Thank you, Chair. Hi, I just want to say, kind of echo my colleagues in saying thank you for the work that you do. I mean, it feels very much like it's like the foundation on which, kind of like county processes and services are built on. And I really appreciate your collaborative spirit with working with all these organizations to help people stay in their homes. And I will never miss a shout out to King County Community Action for being one of those collaborators. But I was mostly wanting to know, where can I find that podcast episode you mentioned?
Oh, I can get someone to send it to you. But
That'd be
it was the first one I've ever done, and it was the first one they've done. I think they did one with our prosecuting attorneys as well. So they're getting better. So mine was the very first one, but I will see if I can't get you that link and send it to you.
Do you have any other similar educational material? Like
Everything that we have is bilingual. So any of the exemptions that someone can get is our notices, our statements. Even if we do foreclose and you need to go through that 78T excess proceeds, I have that also in both English and Spanish.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Commissioner Kallman.
Thank you, Chair. I just appreciated the example of Nicole in that program. I think it's a great just personal case to point out what I think in a lot of municipal governments is you end up in a situation like Nicole maybe once in your life, and you don't know how to navigate it, and you're just faced with a faceless bureaucracy that you're dealing with. And so I just want to express that my appreciation that when Nicole and others are in those situations, that they get you and your team who actually care for people and for, seeing that families are able to keep those properties that have been in their family for maybe multiple generations. Like it thankfully is, not a huge number, that are all the way into that process, but for those that are, it makes a huge difference. So
Yeah,
thank you. And I just have a couple of things. I'm just curious on the impact on you and your team, some changes that have happened. One, I know Byron Township added a local hotel motel excise tax. I'm just curious if that impacts your office and then additionally, I think I heard that the U.S. Supreme Court recently decided a Michigan County tax foreclosure case. I'm also curious on the impact of that on your office.
So we haven't had a whole lot of communication. Thank you for the kind words, but we haven't had a lot of communications with Byron Center on their new or adopted ordinance in regards to, and what Byron did was they added on major hotels an additional excise tax on there. So excise tax is 8% from the county, 4% go to Experience Grand Rapids, and then you have 6%. So it's a lot. It's 18%. And then Byron Center just put on a couple other percentage points on there just for the hotels that are in Byron Center. They haven't reached out to us. We haven't had a whole lot of communications. I don't know if they have it up and running. They haven't asked for any assistance at this point, but we're willing to help. I don't know if we're set up to collect someone else's excise tax, so that would have to, sit down and have some discussions on that. The other was a ruling by the U.S. Supreme Court, the Pung versus Isabella, and when Matt Nelson was here, we discussed the ramifications. He's from our attorney with Warner Norcross Judd. What the crux of that, and the main point was, if I foreclose or if a county treasurer forecloses, is that previous parcel owner due fair market value? And the answer was no. They get whatever I can sell it for, because I can never sell it for fair market value. I'm not a realtor. They defaulted on their taxes. They could have sold it themselves with a private realtor, but they're usually distressed. So I sell it just to cover what is due in penalties, fees, and back taxes. Anything on top of that individual can go through the 78T process and claim that excess proceeds. What Pung was saying is they owe us fair market value. So whatever fair market value is not even defined. We all look at it as double the SEV, right? But what was that property really worth at the time when we foreclosed? It's going to be tough to say. But it was unanimous, and our U.S. Supreme Court said no. The process of selling it in an open auction to anybody willing to bid is a fair process. So it was a win for the county treasurers and for Kent County.
Commissioner Womack.
Hello. I just want to thank you again for all of your work. And Mr. McGregor, when you look at when you take a look at the reduction and we look at the environment we are in right now economically in America, I just really want to overextend this thanks to you and for reaching out in my community, letting people know that they can work out some payment plans. So that's helped a whole lot of people I could knock on the door or call on the phone and let them know you need to get in contact with Mr. McGregor. They called me back and say, hey, I was just so scared. I just felt there was no way out. And they just, I know they want to thank you. And I just want to deliver that thanks to you and keep up the good work.
Yeah, thank you. I've knocked on a lot of doors in the last 20 years, so that was helpful to this position, because all it takes is just a little communication.
You're not the regular bill collector.
No.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Commissioner Steck.
Thank you, Chair Green. So, Peter, I just wanted to follow up on Commissioner Coleman's inquiry about the Isabella County case. And yeah, it's a great decision from the Supreme Court with respect to avoiding the big potential loss that counties would face if they had ruled the other way. I think, now, I read the head notes, I didn't read the case, as most lawyers know, that's terrible. But at any rate, I thought that they had remanded the due process question back to the Sixth Circuit or to the Circuit
right.
Court of Appeals to determine what does due process really require you to follow. And I'm not sure how much guidelines they get, but do we have any concerns about our process compliant with where they think that should go?
No, when a piece of legislation is created, sometimes you just come up with, okay, how much time should we give someone? And a lot of times they'll say 120 days is enough, or 90 days is enough. So whether July 1st is the right date in our process when it comes to someone claiming excess proceeds, or whether the county should hold back 5% to help us with our costs of going through the 78T, those are some of the challenges that we may go through. But it wouldn't be as bad as if they said, oh yeah, you should be paying them. It was a taking, you should pay them fair market value. Because it's not really a taking, but that was the argument, whether it was or was not a taking.
So we still have to wait a little bit to see what the Court of Appeals does with that.
But working with, the legislature, possibly we could tweak some of these, give them more time. I always said that the 78T process, when we were developing, because I was still in office when that was being developed, and I was part of that. It's always awesome to see something that I actually worked on as a legislator and passed, voted yes, and now I have to live by it. Because most of the time, those people that pass these laws never have to follow those rules because they don't have to live by it. But it's something that when you go through that process, our thinking was you should never need an attorney to go to that process. But it's intimidating walking across the street and filing a claim. If you've never done it before, it's just not the easiest thing. And in the process of them having to do a notice of intent, and then we're waiting a couple months for us to do our research and sending them a notice of that we got the notice and this is what your excess claims were, and now you have to file a claim, very clunky. It could be a whole lot smoother. A lot of it could be all done online. They don't need to, the whole point of 78T was to give someone a second chance. If you lose your parcel or your property, at least you're going to get some money back if we sell it for more than what is due in the back taxes. And now that money's coming to you and you have a second chance or to rebuild your life again or wherever you're going to live. But to give 33 plus away to an attorney, % away to an attorney for something that shouldn't be that difficult to do, that's just kind of a bee in my bonnet that they shouldn't be doing that.
I'm not quite as offended, but so if you're any more successful, this will be an irrelevant issue for us here. So thank you.
Thank you.
I do have one follow-up.
Yeah.
I was surprised to hear that. Did you say there's 15% property owners who qualify for the personal exemption don't take it?
I don't know if I gave you a percentage, but a lot of people who I find that are in front of us with delinquent taxes don't have the PRE, the 100% PRE.
And they qualify for it.
And they qualify for it.
So,
and many times it's because it's either an estate name, grandma and grandpa or mom or dad, and they never changed it through probate. Or they bought it and it just could be a clerical error, could be that they have a different last name than their spouse or partner, and the city or the township will look at it and say, oh, this is a rental. And they don't give them the benefit of the doubt.
So can you fix that for them retroactively or not?
It can be fixed retroactively. I can point it out, but it has to be fixed at the local level.
At the local jurisdiction.
And, they would be losing revenue by doing this, so they don't promote it like I promote it. I promote it because someone could lose their home because they're paying too much tax, right? But they look at it as ooh, we got more tax coming in. And I don't mean to badmouth the locals. I was a township supervisor once, and bringing in that revenue is key, but they're looking at it big picture instead of the individual. By the time they get to me, I have the ability to look at these as individuals rather than just numbers.
Well, thank you for that information. I always thought the concern was people taking exemption they shouldn't be taking, not that they're
Yeah,
not taking.
and there's those, but the township and the cities catch those nicely. They do a
Imagine
good job.
that.
But if they see it on the other side, you have to apply for that, sorry.
Thank you.
All right, we've got one more person in the queue, and then I'm going to end discussion. Pete's been on the hot seat for quite a while, so I will call on Ranking Member Hennessy, and then we'll continue on after that.
Thank you. Following up on other commissioner comments, and not to prolong this, but I hope that residents get the message and understand it's better to go to you and talk to your office or talk to their city treasurer, their township treasurer, early on, as soon as they know they have problems, because there are solutions, there are ways of getting around it. And, your office has been helpful to some of my residents, but, residents need to know. You can help them break the problem down and walk them through it step by step.
Yes, thank you. It's, last thing we want is to take someone's property or home away from them. So we'll do whatever we can to help them stay in their home. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate it, Pete. I'll just add to what everybody said. You do a great job, and we're really grateful for it. I read in the Bible that you guys are real jerks, but you don't sound anything like the tax collectors in there, so we appreciate it. And you do a really good job, so we're grateful, especially the work you do to keep folks in their homes. So thank you, Pete. Thanks for the presentation.
Yeah, appreciate your time.
All right, we'll move on to agenda item number 6, which is public comment related only to agenda action items. If you wish to speak to an agenda action item, please give us your name and address, and you have up to 3 minutes. Good morning.
Good morning, Chairman Green and commissioners and fellow citizens. May I speak to what the treasurer report is? Is that allowed?
We're supposed to be only agenda action items, so that would not be part of it today.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment related to agenda action items only? All right, I see none. We will move on to the agenda item number 7, which is the consent agenda. I will call on Commissioner McLeod.
Thank you, Chair. I move approval of the consent agenda for today.
Thank you. Is there support? Supported by Commissioner Halstead. Questions, comments, or discussion on the consent agenda? I see none. This is a roll call vote. Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
On the adoption of the consent agenda, Commissioners Womack.
Yes.
Vice Chair Teal.
Yes.
Commissioner Steck.
Yes.
Sparks. Ponstein.
Yes.
Pakla. Oliver King. Morse.
Yes.
Morales.
Yes.
Merchant. McLeod.
Yes.
LeGrand. Coleman.
Yes.
Hildebrand. Hennessy.
Yes.
Halsted.
Yes.
Minority Vice Chair Faber. Commissioners DeBoer. Burl.
Yes.
Bujak.
Yes.
Vice Chair Green.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 15 yeas, 0 nays. The consent agenda is adopted.
Thank you. We'll move on to agenda item number 8, which is resolutions. And in the absence of Commissioner Sparks, I will call on Commissioner Womack for 8A.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to move Resolution 61 of today's date, appropriate sub-recipient CDBG funds from the city of Wyoming.
Thank you. Is there support? Supported by Commissioner Burl. Questions, comments, or discussion on this action item? I see none. This is again a roll call vote. Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
On the adoption of Resolution 61, Commissioners Womack.
Yes.
Vice Chair Teal.
Yes.
Commissioner Steck.
Yes.
Sparks. Ponstein.
Yes.
Pakla. Oliver King. Morse.
Yes.
Morales.
Yes.
Merchant.
Yes.
McLeod.
Yes.
LeGrand. Coleman.
Yes.
Hildebrand.
Yes.
Hennessy.
Yes.
Halsted. Minority Vice Chair Faber. Commissioners DeBoer. Burl.
Yes.
Bujek.
Yes.
And Chair Green.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 15 yeas, 0 nays. The motion is adopted.
Thank you. We'll continue on the order of resolutions. For item 8B, in Commissioner Oliver King's absence, I will again call on Commissioner Womack.
I'd like to move Resolution 62 of today's date, approve the fiscal year 2026 KCCA Community Development Action Plan and Appropriation.
Thank you. Is there support? Supported by Commissioner Morales. Questions, comments, or discussion on this item? Yes, Commissioner Bujak.
Thank you, Chair Green. This report, very comprehensive. You could spend days diving into the details of this particular report. One thing did catch my eye, and I do want to just read it out loud. It's very short. It says, according to the most recent housing inventory count report published by the HUD, there are a total of 2,796 year-round beds available to homeless persons in Kent County. However, it is possible that these beds may also be a resource for homeless individuals in surrounding areas outside of Kent County. While the 2,796 beds should theoretically meet the needs of the 1,238 homeless people in the county, 114 homeless people remain unsheltered during the 2025 PIT count. So I'd just like to make a shout out to all those agencies that are providing that resource. It's obvious that we have enough beds for the homeless and that, you know, we as a county do take that seriously, and we have provided shelters for individuals who are seeking places to stay. For the 114 homeless, I pray for them that they, you know, find some way to counsel their whatever issues they have and take upon themselves to accept those services.
Thank you. Anyone else? Questions, comments, discussion? Commissioner Womack.
Just to add on to what Commissioner Bujak said, I have been homeless not only in Grand Rapids but other cities, and I recently was telling the audience that when I was homeless in another city, I would hear people trying to get tickets to Grand Rapids, and I'm thinking, and I hope they're saying Grand Rapids, Minnesota, but they said Michigan. I said, that's where I'm from, and it's well known nationally that this is a city that's giving. This is a city that has banded together to help the homeless people, and I know we can't house every homeless person in America, but I'm just glad to see that Kent County, the townships and the cities are doing what they can to help the homeless people that are here in Grand Rapids and those that do come here without discrimination. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, I see none. This is again a roll call vote. Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
On the adoption of Resolution 62, Commissioners Womack.
Yes.
Vice Chair Teal.
Yes.
Commissioner Steck.
Yes.
Sparks. Ponstein.
Yes.
Pakla. Oliver King. Morse.
Yes.
Morales.
Yes.
Merchant.
Yes.
McLeod.
Yes.
LeGrand. Coleman.
Yes.
Hildenbrand. Hennessy.
Yes.
Halsted.
Yes.
Minority Vice Chair Faber. Commissioners DeBoer. Burl.
Yes.
Bujek.
Yes.
Chair Green.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 15 yeas, 0 nays. The motion is adopted. The resolution is adopted.
Thank you. We'll continue with resolutions, and for 8C, I will call on Commissioner Hildebrand.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Resolution 63 of today's date, funding from Ada Township for the Knapp Street Pedestrian Bridge Capital Improvement Program project.
Thank you. Is there support? Supported by Commissioner Bujak. Questions, comments, discussion on this item? I see none. This is again a roll call vote. Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
On the adoption of Resolution 63, Commissioner Womack.
Yes.
Vice Chair Teal.
Yes.
Commissioner Steck. Sparks. Ponstein. Pakla. Oliver King. Morse. Morales. Merchant. McLeod.
Yes.
LeGrand. Coleman.
Yes.
Hildebrand.
Yes.
Hennessy. Halsted. Minority Vice Chair Faber. Commissioners DeBoer. Burl.
Yes.
Bujek.
Yes.
Chair Green.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 15 yeas, 0 nays. The motion is adopted. Resolution is adopted.
Thank you. We'll move to agenda item 8D, and I will call again on Commissioner Womack.
I'd like to move Resolution 64, today's date, funding the DGRI for the Knapp Street Pedestrian Bridge and Johnson Park Trailhead Improvement, Capital Improvement Program, CIP projects.
Thank you. Is there support? Supported by Commissioner Ponstein. Questions, comments, discussion on this item? I see none. This is again a roll call vote. Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
On the passage of adoption of Resolution 64, Commissioners Womack,
Yes.
Vice Chair Teal,
Yes.
Commissioner Steck,
Yes.
Sparks, Ponstein,
Yes.
Pakla, Oliver King, Morse,
Yes.
Morales,
Yes.
Merchant,
Yes.
McLeod,
Yes.
LeGrand, Coleman,
Yes.
Hildebrand,
Yes.
Hennessy,
Yes.
Halsted,
Yes.
Minority Vice Chair Faber, Commissioners DeBoer, Burl,
Yes.
Bujek,
Yes.
Chair Green.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, 15 yeas, 0 nays. Motion passes. The resolution is adopted.
Thank you. We'll move to item 8E, and I will call on Vice Chair Teal.
Thank you, Chair Green. I move resolution number 65, Community Corrections Comprehensive Plan and Grant Application.
Thank you. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Commissioner Womack. Questions, comments, discussion on this item? I see none. This is a voice vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. The resolution is adopted. We'll move to agenda item 8F, and I will call on Commissioner Burl.
Well, thank you, Chair Green. I move Resolution 66 of today's date, Community Mental Health Authority Board, the Network 180 appointment.
Thank you. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Commissioner Womack. Questions, comments, discussion on this item? I see none. This is a voice vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. The resolution is adopted. We'll move to agenda item number 9, which is public comment related to general county matters. If you wish to make public comment this morning, please give us your name and address. You have up to 3 minutes. Good morning.
Hello, I am Matthew, and due to previous threats, we have been given permission to abstain from certain address, but we live in the city, me for 31 years, and that for 70 anyway. We had gay pride, but the Bible calls it sodomy, and that the Bible also says the Lord objects to the proud, but respects the humble. And I'm not saying we're better than them, but we were down there Saturday, and it was disgraceful, and the more despicable part was people who would bring their children to it, and and we got marked that one of our people got chased, but it's all for the Lord, and we will continue to stand up for the unborn. And I would also like to plead with people too that the Lord is coming back, and he does not want to see people perish, but all to come to repentance. So I plead that while you still have the time, that you would make the decision. Is the greatest decision anyone can ever make. And I also would like to applaud the 250th celebration, and thank you, Commissioner McLeod, for your kind words. And even though no nation is perfect, will always be proud to call ourselves Americans, and more importantly, we followers of Christ and children of the Lord. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Good morning.
And blessed morning again, Chairman Green. Yes, my name is Daniel Scott, and as my son reminded you, I'm a follower of the Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you as well, Commissioner McLeod. Just wanted to remind you, your first name, Michelle, means who is like the Lord? And of course, the answer is no one. I just wanted to speak to Juneteenth, which was just Saturday, June 19, the end of black slavery, 1865. I'm grateful for that anniversary. And by the way, Abraham Lincoln, one of the greatest presidents we've ever had, gave his life to free the slaves, was a devout follower of Christ. While there still is slavery of African Americans in our country, and it's happening at 425 East Cherry and also inside Corewell Health and Metro hospitals. Don't just take my word for it. There was a survey done recently, and 54% of African American believe that, quote, Planned Parenthood is purposely targeting black people to murder them through abortion. And this is exactly what that place at 425 East Cherry wants to do. I want to remind you that on the average, every single month, every single week, 100 precious babies are murdered, no matter what their ethnicity. Again, I've shared this quote before by Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. How can the dream survive if we murder the children? Notice he used the word murder. Every aborted baby is like a slave in the womb of his or her mother. The mother decides his or her fate. I would add the father to that as well often. Jesse Jackson, African-American Democrat. The late Jesse Jackson called abortion genocide. Elvita King, niece to Martin Luther King Jr. Quote, when we said we will no longer sit at the back of the bus, a place was being reserved for us at the abortion clinic, unquote. And I want to remind you, the founder of Planned Parenthood, we call it Planned Genocide, Margaret Sanger, look it up for yourself. Quote, we don't want the word to get out that we want to exterminate the Negro population. They are human weeds, reckless breeders, spawning human beings who never should have been born. I accepted an invitation to talk to the women's branch of the Ku Klux Klan. If you support that place at 425 in any way, or take funds from them, that is the spirit that you are a part of.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Anyone else for public comment related to general county matters? I see none. We will move to agenda item number 10, which is the administrator's report. Al.
Yes, thank you, and I'll keep mine brief today, put it in my weekly note. I will say that I did participate in the American Legion Auxiliary Girls' Day program for the 41st year last week, and for the first time, we got to Saturday morning with no budget. We had a looming budget shutdown, and thankfully, they were able to pull it together and finish some legislation and have a successful year. I'll mention that Commissioner Morales pinch hit as we many years we're really searching for staff almost all the way up to the start of the program, and did help out this year, so we appreciate that as well. And that's it for today.
Thank you, Al. Agenda item number 10, report from the chair. I have no report this morning. We'll move to agenda item number 12, commissioner comments. Commissioner Bujak.
Thank you, Chair Green. And I just want to thank you, Chair Green, for a fitting 250th celebration recognition. And we couldn't have picked a more enthusiastic individual in Dale to come here and accept that commemoration. Dale's passion and love for this community and the country and history is it just shines when you see his enthusiasm, and I'm so glad that you invited him to come today.
Thank you. Commissioner Ponstein.
Thank you, Chair Green. So to kind of dovetail on the ending of Commissioner Bujak. So when I walk my dog in the morning, I'm known as Backus's owner. A lot of people don't know that I'm a county commissioner, but a few do. I had a person come up to me and say, I want to thank you for everything you do for Kent County and the city of Granville. And in my response back kind of took her back, and I said, you know, I really have very little to do with that. And what I mean by that is that at the end of the day, it's the people that but work for the county that make the difference there. And you know, I work in the private sector too, where a lot of time people work and are expected pay instead of earning it. I think one of the big things that we have in Kent County is people with passion, and that's up and down the ranks. I don't want to name out people and forget some. Passion is something that I see every day in our department leaders, and that's a positive that grows and feeds all the way down to the entry-level workers. So I appreciate all of that, but you know, as we see first thing, that passion goes out into our community too, whether it's, you know, the Sports Commission, Experience Grand Rapids, our former zoo director, and obviously Dale. You know, I'll take a person with passion over a bean counter every day. Not that bean counters are bad. You know, the books have got a balance. But his passion for his job, history, and everything else just speaks of Grand Rapids. And there's a lot of groups with leaders within their organizations that speak well for their organization, but they speak even better for Kent County. So thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Morales.
Thank you, Chair. I'm gonna echo Wally's comments about, you know, just thank you for like the pins and, you know, the beautiful celebration and observation of our 250th anniversary. But also on a more somber note, I'd like to call your attention to the Venezuela earthquake that occurred yesterday. It was a really strong one, like a 7.5 magnitude, and it was two of them back to back. There was an incredible amount of infrastructure damage, I sort of kind of know some people out there. If anybody wants to send some aid, I have like individuals, you know, that we can sell some money to. So if that's something that speaks to anybody, we'd love to be a liaison in that aid. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Hennessy.
Thank you. Last week, the Senior Millage Review Committee met, and as usual, we had more than $1 million more in requests than we had in money to distribute, and we had almost $15 million to distribute. The services are many. It's more than 30 agencies. The services are far more, the individual services are far more than that. It proves to be a difficult process to work it through, and we don't stay in place. It's a very close examination of every program and every service, and changes are made from year to year. But it's all done in keeping with the mission, which is to support older adults, adults with disabilities and their caregivers, to live independently and with dignity, with a real stress on allowing people, empowering people to thrive while aging in place, living where it is that they want to be and living out their life. And so this funding request will become a part of the whole budget approvals later and will be coming to us for our approval. It was approved by the area agency, 9 county plus the City of Grand Rapids board earlier this week. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anyone else for Commissioner comments? I see none. All right, with that, we'll are on to agenda item number 13, adjournment. I'll call on Commissioner McLeod.
Thank you, Chair. I move to adjourn, subject to the call of the chair, to Thursday, July 9, 2026 at 8:30 a.m. for an official meeting.
Thank you. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Commissioner Womack. Before I call the question, we do have a work session coming up, let's say 5 minutes after 10, approximately. All those in favor of the motion to adjourn, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We are adjourned.